What's up? Today is the day that we are going to prepare the ribs. We have 30 slabs of ribs that are going to get prepped. We're going to peel the membranes off of them, trim the scraps off of them, and get them seasoned today. And then they'll go in the cooler overnight. And then tomorrow, ribs typically only take about 5 hours to smoke. My boy has a soccer game at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to put him on the smoker right before I go to his game, 9:30. We'll pull him off, was it 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Pull them off 2:30. I've been telling everybody they'd be done about 3 o'clock. So that's perfect. Everything will be hot and fresh. So what will happen is when they're done, I'll wrap every single one of them when they're done. I don't wrap them midway through and blah, 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 blah. I ain't doing all that. I got some of the best ribs you probably ever had, and I'm very confident of that. They're very good. This whole wrapping method with briskets and porks and ribs, and you got to take it to this temp and then wrap them. Skip all that. You're wasting your time. You're wasting material. You're wasting everything. Cook it until it's done, and then I only wrap it if I need to hold it at temp so I don't dry it out. So what I'll do is once these ribs are all done, I will take them all off, wrap them all very tightly in foil, and then set them back in the smoker, and I'll turn it down to probably like 160 or so, the smoker will, and I'll just hold them in there. If it starts to get a little later in the day and they've been in there spinning around in circles for a while, I'll pull them all off and pack them all into a cooler and shut the lid. They'll hold a lot better moisture in the cooler. I might even do that anyways. I might not even put them back. I'll probably just wrap them. I got a huge, like, 180 quart cooler. I don't know, 60 quart. I don't know how many quarts it is. A big one. 120 quarts. That was close. I said like 160 or 180 or I don't know what I said. Doesn't matter. I went and mowed a couple yards this morning. Got that taken care of. I'm going to go, I unloaded the mower already. I'm not going to take you guys with me, but I got to go unload my trailer. I got too many trailers. I got that trailer. I got my new popcorn trailer. I've got my food truck trailer, and I've got the little mowing trailer. I got too many trailers in my driveway, so I'm going to take the mowing trailer up to the storage lot and just get it out of here. That stupid thing was supposed to go back to the mechanic basically this week, but I didn't have time. So I always got stuff stuck in my teeth. I would like for it to not be in my driveway, but I've got a storage shed that I keep that in because typically I don't just store that outside. Lately I have been, it keeps getting rained on and stuff, but usually I keep that in a closed building. I don't want to go put it back in my closed building or I'll never get it back out until it's fixed. So until it's perfectly fixed, I'm probably just going to leave it right there. I'll let it get rained on a couple more times. It's a power washer. Water ain't going to hurt it. It's not great for it, but it's whatever. Take the trailer back, come back, tidy up just a couple things right here in my kitchen. Get this ready to go. It's pretty well, but I'm going to wipe everything down, make sure everything's perfectly clean. Touch up a couple of loose dishes that need to be done before I even get started on anything. And then we'll get all the ribs out and start trimming the loose scraps off the end. I don't square them up. You know, I'm not going to make them super pretty because that's just wasteful. These aren't competition ribs. These are people just want to take them home and eat them. And I'm not going to cut off a perfectly good bite of meat just because it's ugly. But I am going to cut off like flaps and like stringy fat crap. And I am going to peel the membrane off of every single one of them. Alright, got this all cleaned up. I'm going to get all these ribs out, drag them over here. And I guess I'm just going to show you guys how I peel membranes and trim ribs. We're going to start with 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 slabs of baby backs. Set them there. Cup holder, or cup holder, what am I calling a cup holder? Cutting board is what I need. Nice and clean. We are going to need a roll of paper towels, and my paper towels are missing. Let me go grab a fresh roll of paper towels. All right, paper towels are important for pulling membranes off. I'll show you why in a minute. What? I will make sure that this side, or this bay of my sink is very clean, because I will cut the ribs open in here and get this water warm. Scrub this down. Clean. I always forget to put these on until I'm like already covered in grossness. All right. We need a tub. And trash can. Trash can right by you. Need my favorite knife, which is this one here. Gloves are going to do two things. One, keeps me from handling your food without proper protection. And two, keeps my hands clean. So this is a new company. I bought these at Restaurant Depot, these ribs here. And they were in a different box, and there was a guy working there, and I was like, what's up with these ribs? He said, brand new company. He said, you're actually buying the very first box of them. He said, we just put them out today, and you're the first customer to even grab a box of these ribs. So cross our fingers that they're the same consistency that I've always had. I'm gonna go rip this open in the sink so I don't get any juice all over this. They don't seem like they're too juicy, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's not bad at all. So get that opened up. Ooh, that's a healthy slab of ribs there. I don't want that one in particular. So like I said, guys, I'm not doing a ton of trimming. Hang on a second. I'm not doing a ton of trimming. I'll take that off. You know, competition, man, they're gonna square this up. Get that out of the way. They're gonna cut that off, they're gonna square it, and they're gonna make this look like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. I'm not worried about this little flap down here. Some people are, they're like, it's just gonna burn and get crunchy. Personally, I like to still eat that part. Still a good piece. All right, the goal here is removing the membrane. About 100 different ways to get started here. But if you can get a hold of it with a paper towel, I didn't get it all. There we go. That stuff, you can't bite through that stuff. It'll be like trying to bite leather. Even on a cooked rib, you can't cook that stuff out. Part of it. That's a good slab of ribs there. All right, let's do that 17 more times. That one's kind of lousy on the end there, so I am going to chop that off. I don't want to hear it, guys, but no, I don't save the little bits and make sausage or anything like that. I'm not going to feed it to my dog because then I just got to clean up dog puke. In a perfect world, I would save all that, and when I have enough, I would grind it up and make some sausage. I'll leave that on there. So when I put that in the smoker, I'll make sure that's not like feathered way out like that. I'll kind of make sure it's scrunched, kind of like that. It'll cook a little better. And sometimes what I do is with my knife, these are the bones here. Don't ever poke a knife towards your belly like me. But I'll kind of, I don't know if you can see that or not. I just kind of got it started there. I don't want to cut it. I just kind of got it started, just so I can get a hold of it. Something not quite as sharp works better. A hook, like a hook of some sort, would be more ideal. Like a meat hook. All right. I like to use that same paper towel just as long as I can. Yeah, you guys see that? You got to get that off of there. Nobody's going to eat that. Nobody can eat that. It's very chewy. It's going to give you a bad reputation. That's a big old slab there. All of these will cook down. Occasionally there is a time that I just cannot get this membrane off. And what I do in that particular instance, I'll use this as an example. Let's pretend there's a membrane on here still. You take it and you just score that membrane just as much as you can. You don't want to cut deep, you just want to cut that membrane up. And then go back and cut it this way a whole bunch. You want to get that membrane chopped up into as many little pieces as you can. That way they can bite it and eat it, and you know, in a sense, you'll almost never know it's there. I'm sure the barbecue police are going to yell at me for something after I post this video. Can't do it like this, or you're supposed to do it like that, or why would you do that to your customers? It's just never ending. No, I mean, I haven't had a lot of that on YouTube yet, but I get it on Facebook all the time. But doesn't matter. My product always sells. Come on, get in there. Product always sells out. I've never had a bad review. Occasionally I'll get a customer will private message me, which I much greatly appreciate, and just maybe give me some encouraging criticism and just say, hey, I think it would have been better like this. And you know what? Great. Thanks for your input. I appreciate that. I'll consider it. But I've, knock on wood, because it seems like every company has their day. Every business has their day eventually on their local community page. So far, not a single business I own, to my knowledge, has ever been publicly bashed or slandered on the local community page. I used to detail cars back in the day. That's kind of where, that was my original thing. I got a bad review on my Facebook page one time from a lady, and as far as I know, this is the only bad review I've ever had. This lady called me. Well, she didn't call me. She messaged me on Facebook, on my Facebook page messenger. So this might be an example of that. Anyways, she messaged me on my Facebook page, And I was open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or whatever my hours were. I don't know. I didn't work on the weekends is what it boiled down to. She's like, I need my car detailed on Saturday. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, we don't work on Saturdays. Well, that's the only time I have to get it done. And I was like, well, basically, I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it wasn't 10 minutes after our conversation, I got a notification on Facebook of like a 1-star review, and she went on there, left me a 1-star review and a comment saying that I would not accommodate to her schedule and that she would not be doing business with me. And it kind of backfired on her, I think, because not only did I kind of call her out on it, and I was like, I commented on it, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're not open on the weekends. You didn't even give me a chance to do business with you. You just immediately gave me a bad review, and I've never done business with you before. Some of my loyal customers chimed in on it as well, which really kind of backfired on her. She never took her post down or anything, but she got ganged up on. That's for sure. I felt like I won that one. And that lousy bad review, it had enough comments on it that if anybody wanted to go on to my page and like look at my reviews before hiring me, I think they would have read the comments and been like, all right, this lady was just crazy. A little bit of membrane on there still. I'd like to get a hold of it. See, sometimes I can't. That little bit. So I'm just going to cut that piece up. I'm going to make sure it's in little bitty bite-sized pieces on the membrane there. And the customer would never even know. Alright, I'm going to whip through the rest of these. I'm sure you guys are getting bored of listening to me talking. It's just going to be a bunch of repetitive stuff. Alright, all these baby backs are trimmed and membranes are peeled. Got a guy coming over, so I buy a seasoning for my ribs. I don't make my rib seasoning. Mike P. I don't know if you know who he is. I'll try to put a thing in a description here. You can look him up. He's a seasoning master, and my rib seasoning is something I buy from him. I make my own seasoning for my pork and my brisket, but no, sorry, I'm scratching my knee. I buy my rib seasoning at this time, anyways. I want to get to where I make my own seasoning for everything, but I buy my seasoning from him for my ribs and for my chicken wings. And it's top-notch quality stuff. He's going to be here in a minute because I ordered 5 pounds of seasoning from him. That'll get me through quite a bit. That's a lot of seasoning. He's getting ready to drop that off, and I'm going to wrap these up with saran wrap, throw them back in the fridge, and get the other box of ribs out. The baby backs are all done. St. Louis right here. Got them all trimmed up. I got all the membranes peeled off. Now we're going to season them. This is all my seasoning. These two are the same. This is one I make. Honestly, I think I like mine a little better, but he gets his made in like mass quantities, and he's just got tubs and tubs of it, and I can go buy pounds of it from him at a time. That's just so much easier than making my own. But I've been sitting here like eating a little bit of each one of them for like some little snacks. Am I in wide view right now? What is going on? I don't know. I keep like taking little pinches and tasting both of them, and his is really good. Don't get me wrong, but I just genuinely like mine better. But I don't have enough of mine, so I'm gonna just use that one on this time. I don't normally use mine on the ribs anyway, so it's not like I'm switching it up for my customers. But I need to just make like a 5-gallon bucket full of mine, so I just have it on hand so I can do my ribs and my pork butts always with mine. And when it gets low, I can make another big bucket of it. Let's season some ribs. We no longer need the cutting board. Put it in the sink. We do need another tub. So what's going to happen is we're going to take our slab out of here, season it. We're going to stack it in another tub. So I need to not have a box. I need another tub. I need to get some bigger tubs. Tell you what I'll do is I'll season in this tub. It's a little smaller tub. And then we'll stack them in that tub. And then when we're done, I'll have this empty tub left over. I'll transfer it over here and use it for stacking the baby backs. So what I like to do is just take me a mess of seasoning and just dump it in there. Not all of it, just get you that's how it will taste. This is a little salty. It's really good after it's cooked. It's really good right now too. Mine's a lot more sugary than his. Mine gets a lot darker, so people don't understand that. Some people don't understand. They see that real dark brisket, those real dark ribs, the real dark pork butt. Oh my God, you burnt it. No, you just don't know what good barbecue is. Lay that out. And then we'll get spray bottle. Here's another thing. Some of you will just be like, oh my God, you're not slathering it with mustard? No, I'm not slathering it with mustard. You don't need all that garbage on there. Water. Water is the only moisture I'm going to put on these ribs. Water and gloves. Gloves are also the answer. So I take a spray bottle with water in it. It doesn't matter, guys. You don't need to slather these up with mustard. Don't. That's just silly. You know, and I used to do it back in the day when I was just cooking one slab on my pellet smoker, and I thought I was really somebody, or my Weber, or whatever. Rub it around with mustard. That's what all the other guys are doing. You learn real quick when you start doing things in like mass volume how to simplify. And all you need is for this thing to be wet. Slap it down in there. Foam some of that up on there. Get the edges. That's a beautifully seasoned slab of ribs, front and back. Lay that right down in there. I'm just going to go ahead and dump the rest of this bag in here actually, because I know I'm going to use it all. Don't ever put more than you think you're going to use in there. So realistically, you can't or shouldn't or whatever save it when you're done, because raw meat has touched all of that now. So you can't just use what you want and then put it back in the container. You've got it in a container sitting on your shelf like this one here. You gotta remember, raw meat has touched all that seasoning now. So don't put more in there than you know you're gonna use. And I'll start getting low on it, and then I'll start being a little more, I don't know, stingy with it. So I'm not wasting it. There ain't nothing worse than having to throw this stuff in the trash. But you just can't save it. It'll grow bacteria if you try to put it back in the container. Now, there have been times that I've used it and had leftover, and I knew I was going to use it again in a few days, and I put it in the fridge. That ain't no different than putting raw meat in the fridge. I would put the seasoning, I'd bag it up and put it in the fridge and hold it in the fridge for a couple days. But you can't keep it. I guess you could maybe, if you did have a bunch left over that was contaminated, I don't know if this is the right answer or not, but I guess you could maybe freeze it, because then it wouldn't grow any back. See how pretty that is? That's just water, guys. I'm not slathering these up with mustard. Just none of that nonsense. All you need is they just need to be a little tacky. A little little bit of membrane left on that one. I'm going to make sure that is cut up. Just a little piece there I missed. This is how we do it. Just comb it all over the back. And you gotta remember on the bottom side of these ribs, guys, I mean, I'm doing it, but you don't need to waste a lot of seasoning down here unless you're taking pictures and putting it on social media. Meat side's what's important. You want to season both sides, don't get me wrong. The meat side is where all your flavor's at, though. So when you're trying to be consistent and run a business, once it's cooked in the smoker, it's all going to be black anyways. No one's going to look at it and be like, well, there's no seasoning on or he was light on the seasoning. Like realistically, I don't know if you can see that. That's good enough on the bottom. And there'll be times I'm just doing better because you guys are watching me. But when it's done and cooked, you'd never even know that I was a little light on the seasoning on the back or the edge. It's all just for pictures. So that was the amount of seasoning I put in this tub. I didn't weigh it, but I'm going to guess it was probably about 2.5 pounds. So we'll keep that in mind. I should have weighed it. We'll keep that in mind, and I'll let you know how much seasoning I used when I'm done on all these ribs. So there's still a lot left in here. I'm working on 2.5 pounds. Mike came by off camera and delivered 5 more pounds of this same seasoning to me. But I ain't got time for putting these, laying them all out on a flat table and running a shaker over them and seasoning them up real pretty like you see all these other barbecue places do. And then there's just so much waste, like on the table and stuff. I'm like, how in the heck y'all do it? I keep it all right here in this tub. And then I don't have a bunch of waste. Get up under that little flap there. I like to flatten it out before I lay the next slab in there. That way there's no bare spots. Press it down and get that extra rubbed all over the back. Hit the sides a little bit. Then I'll flip it over and just kind of touch up the meat side. We're just stacking them in the tub. There's only 2 slabs left in here. Getting a little low on seasoning. Just on like what I got in my tub. I got plenty more seasoning. Just a little shake. Off goes one more slab. Just water, guys. Just water. Don't listen to all these mustard and hot sauce and Worcestershire sauce people rub mayonnaise. Man, I've seen it all. I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but people just line up for my ribs. They sell out every single time. I'm doing 30 slabs tomorrow, and every single one of them is already sold. Already spoken for. All right, that was it. Oh, dang it. Get these gloves off. See, this is why we wear gloves. That's about how much seasoning I got left. There's probably not even a quarter of a pound in there. I'm going to say I started with 2.5 pounds. Those are all my St. Louis style ribs. There are, I can't remember, 3, 6, 9, 12. There's 12 slabs in there. Yeah, because I have 18 baby backs, and that's what makes 30. I got plastic wrap right there. I'm going to hit these up with some plastic wrap and throw them in the fridge. And they're just going to sit there until tomorrow. So something I like to do, plastic wrap doesn't stick to dry plastic real well. Guess what? This does stick to, though. Just a little bit of moisture. It don't take much. Just put a little moisture on it. Get this foil out of my way. Wrapped. Just like that. Just enough to keep the air off of it. I'm going to go open the fridge and throw these in the fridge and come back with the baby backs. Remove this foil so I got room to set them down. Things you learn is open the fridge first before you got your hands full with 2 tubs. And make sure you got a shelf that a whole tub is going to fit on. And I do. Oh boy. They're heavy. Lost my mic. And my bag. Yep, my watch is talking to me. Alright. You guys still hear me? That's 2 pounds of seasoning. This is 18 slabs of ribs. Let's see how much 2 pounds gets us. How many slabs of ribs 2 pounds gets us? Get this out of my way. I need this tub to be over here. Take plastic off. Put in the trash. Man, this. You guys have a recommendation on aprons? This part that's like on my neck starts to just like hurt. It's like pulling me down, and I'm constantly like pulling it up, so it'll be like that. I just need it to like stay up there though. I almost need to like tie these to that. Does that look better? It feels a lot better. A bungee cord to like connect those. All right, quit talking and start ribbing. We're gonna season these, and then that'll probably be the end of today. Tomorrow we're gonna cook them, and then all customers will come pick them up. I'll try to get some of that. I'll put the camera in the background so you can just kind of see me dealing with some people. But what's that? All right, we're gonna stack them in here. Bottle of water, not mustard. One beautiful slab of baby back ribs. See that one there? That is I can't say it out loud. I'm going to. That one's long and thick, which isn't fair to some others because somebody else is going to get a short, thin one. It's just not a fair world that we live in, is it? I'm going to have to put some more seasoning in here. All right, 7 slabs. There might be a quarter pound in there still. See, that's hurting me. Might be a quarter pound in there still. I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest of my seasoning in there. And it's going to be. And then these are going to just sit in the fridge overnight. And they're going to sweat. And all this seasoning is just going to adhere to it really well. They're going to come out of the fridge tomorrow morning in a completely different color. They're all going to be dark red. Well, there's only 3 slabs left in here. I did exactly what I said not to do. I got way too much seasoning in here and it's all contaminated now. But like I said, you can put it in the fridge. It's no different than putting raw meat in the fridge. I typically would only do that like one time, but I will be doing some pork butts soon, and I'll use the same seasoning on it. Last one. That's why we wear gloves. Well, for your peace of mind, and because my hands would be disgusting if I didn't have gloves on. And I don't know about you, but I'm super grossed out if I see you touching all that meat that I'm getting ready to eat. I don't do it. I always wear the gloves. Quite a bit of seasoning left in there. It's all right though. That'll go in the fridge. That's all contaminated by raw meat now, so I'm not going to take a pinch out of there and eat it at this point. But I'll go in the fridge. I'll use that on my pork butts here pretty soon. I'm set this to the side. I'll put the rest of that seasoning in a big Ziploc bag probably. Or I could vacuum seal it, I guess. Pork seasoning. You guys gotta check this vacuum sealer out. I got this thing at Cabela's. It is the real deal. Fold that down so it holds. I'm gonna bring that forward just a little bit. Make sure it's flat. 3 seconds, 2. Oh, it went down a little bit. Watch it. It's gonna suck that thing down tight like a brick. Oh, in a second. There we go. I'll throw that in the fridge. But I've taken all of the contaminants out of that. As a brick now. There's no giving that. That's tight. Like, look. I can. This is solid. But I don't know the science behind vacuum sealing, but I think if it's like take all the air out of it like that, I don't think bacteria can grow anyways. But just to be extra safe, we're gonna put it in the fridge. So now it's like double safe. And I'm gonna use it again within the week. All right, dishes time. Get all this cleaned up. Keeps down on the flies and the bugs.
We're gonna get that fired up. Just get it going, get it warm, get all the metal in there warmed up, get everything warm, the rack's warm. We don't just want the ambient temperature to be where it needs to be. We want the whole thing to be at the temperature it needs to be. Let's see, make sure the gas is on. It is. I have no idea how much gas is left in there. At here, right about where I want. Oh no, it's a little high. So I want to run. I'm going to run between 225 and 250. So I'm just going to park it in between that. And this thing is like clockwork, man. It'll put that needle right between 225 and 250. All right, there's the St. Louis. I always do baby backs. It's just what I've always done. It's what I always do. It's what people are used to buying from me is baby back ribs. I'm really happy with the size and the shape of these St. Louis style ribs, which is basically just a trimmed spare rib, by the way. Spare ribs still have the rib tip on it. St. Louis style is basically they just took spare rib and trimmed the rib tip off of it. I really do love baby back ribs. We're also going to get that kettle corn trailer opened up today. We are, as long as everything goes perfect in a perfect world, we're making popcorn today. I'm gonna go get my tractor, and your battery is kind of low, so I'm gonna put you on charger for a little bit, and I'll be back.
I got tractor. I still don't know where I'm gonna put this. I'm kind of thinking like right there. Yeah, it works. I can unload there and use this whole area. I'll tell you what, I love that tractor. It's so handy. Let's see, it's 8:43. Probably about 30 minutes. We're gonna put the ribs on. Man, these people that I bought this from, they just thought of everything, honestly. Like, this gap here, they're like, yeah, that's what this is for. They had that, like, custom made so they could wheel that in and out and not have to deal with that gap. Alright, let's see what we can figure out here. There's just some jugs in here. She did mention something about these jugs as to why she kept them. I can't remember what that was. Super nice people though. I've got her phone number. I got both their phone numbers, but they're like, you have any questions, man, just call us. They're retired. They actually called me yesterday, and they're like, hey, we found like 3 bags of unpopped popcorn that somebody else, they had a business partner. They're like, a business partner had 3 bags of unpopped popcorn. I'm like, sweet, I need that. And they're like, we'll meet you. They live an hour away. They're like, we'll be happy to just meet you halfway, you know. And turned out I was going almost all the way to their house last night anyways for something else. So like 10 minutes away from their house. So they met me and gave me that, and they gave me that. Like, she like hand wrote all the like recipes and stuff, which is not a lot of science to this. But she told me how much popcorn to use, how much sugar they used, how much salt they used. Same on the funnel cakes. So like, we mixed this one and this one together, and she wrote it all out. Like, we use, 5 pounds of this and 5 pounds. I'm just making numbers up, but they just mixed it all together, and and how much sugar they put on the funnel cakes, and how she made the lemonades, 1 lemon per 20-ounce cup, and the sugar ratio for the water. Like, she wrote it all out for me. She's like, this is a turnkey business. Why does my nose always itch? That kind of just looks like a trash can. It kind of just looks like trash to me. A stool. I do remember them mentioning a stool. There was like a purpose for that. I can't remember what it was. So I kind of thought about this. Essentially, this is just a storage trailer, okay? Just to transport all the equipment somewhere. And then you have to set it all up. Get the tents out right there. Set everything up out here, and then leave your trailer back in the parking lot or whatever. I don't know why I couldn't just chop a concession window in this trailer and use the trailer as my serving area and still store everything in there, but I can get to where I'm going. I'll pay for my space, you know, it's a 14-foot trailer. Let's just say they're selling 14-foot spaces. I'll buy 2 spaces so I can have my trailer plus my tent set up here. I can pop and fry out here. I'll have all the lemonade stuff in there, and then I'll just, if they order something, they'll order at the window, and whoever's working with me can just come out here, grab the funnel. Like, I'll make the funnel cake and give it to you right here. I can put a table or something right here and then sell it out the window. That's my idea right now. Ask me again tomorrow, though. So there's a few things in here that I'll probably update. This table, to me, it's just trash. This thing, it looks like they got their money's worth out of it. It's kind of falling apart. It's kind of ugly, kind of gross looking. Oh, this thing's got brakes on it. Oh, that's way better. Sifting table is here, okay? All right, rib time. We're gonna go out one at a time and get these on the smoker. You see that compared to yesterday? Those are a lot darker. I always say I want to get like a face mask for this, but I never do. 1, 2, 3. It's 9:30 in the morning. I'll probably peek at them at about 3 or 4 hours. See what they're looking like. All right, I think we're gonna go to my son's soccer game, and then we'll be back in a little bit.
I told you it was cold. Going down there to.
Preston, come on! I'm coming. Keep going!
One way!
Joseph, leave that alone.
Soccer's wrapped up. We just got back to the house. We're gonna check on the ribs. Make sure we're still holding temp. We are right on the money. I've got it set roughly around 2:30, and it is just bingo bango. Not gonna open it. You looking, you ain't cooking. They're fine. I can hear the rack spinning around in there, and the temp is holding just right. And I can see just a light white smoke coming up top. Looks perfect. My sister is my other sister, not the one that helps me barbecue. My other sister wants to get involved. She said she's interested in being a popcorn lady. So she's gonna come over and help me learn how to do popcorn. Well, that's gonna be a problem. My sister is full of helicopters. I guess that's why technically you're supposed to have a cover, canopy up. I'm not putting the canopy up. I'm just popping this for fun today, for friends and family. I'm giving it away. If you eat a helicopter today, it's not my problem. Should have been paying attention. They wrote everything down for me. They were so nice and so helpful. They've given me several of these yellow pieces of paper with like basically basic instructions for like setup and tear down and how to do everything. And I was like, oh, that's very nice of you. Not that it's an intense recipe, but here's their popcorn recipe that I'll be going off of for my first attempt. I might change it a little bit just to make it my own. You know, it tells me how much oil, how much popcorn, how much sugar, and then a little salt. Pretty plain and simple, really. I mean, if you know anything about popcorn, or if you've ever watched a YouTube video, it's pretty much the same thing everybody watches. Basic thing right here. We're gonna go off of that first, just so I can learn. I've never, ever done this before. So I'm gonna figure it out. And make some popcorn. I almost kind of want to pop in here. I wonder if that would be crazy. It's not windy in here. It's very windy out there. I don't know. I don't see any reason why I couldn't just pop popcorn right here in my garage.
He just had something the other day at Mom and Dad, and I said, Dad, you got a pocket knife? He's here, and he said, every real man should have a pocket knife. And I said, oh, good thing I'm not a man then, huh?
Counts me out then. Professional taper.
I'm like, this'll hold it.
So this thing's got little brakes on it too, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna strap it to this thing. Figure out this pilot light system.
Well, that was easy.
Early on. So then
Ta-da!
like that, and I fire, and you kick it off, and the pilot light stays going, so you don't have to keep relighting. They use soy oil,
Oh.
which I thought was strange because I've never heard of anybody using it. Everybody uses corn oil.
Yeah, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's soy oil. I'm gonna try that. I bought a couple little things of corn oil. We'll try it on the next batch, and then we'll see if there's a taste difference.
Okay.
I personally think corn oil is gonna be the answer.
I feel like it probably will.
Seems like everybody's using corn oil, but they said they've always used soy oil, so we're gonna try soy oil.
Might as well use it.
That's kind of hard to say, soy oil.
Soy oil? Soy oil? It is hard to say.
Soy oil.
Soy oil.
Kind of fun to say. It's like saying maybe,
Soy
maybe.
oil.
Maybe, maybe. Maybe, maybe. Alright.
You're gonna get the soy oil? Maybe.
Soy oil. I don't know if I want to. I guess I'll just do it. Get that, it looks like. Okay, so we oil in and then fire on, or I don't think it matters.
I don't think it does either. I saw people do it both ways.
So, I think in theory, this will be like that pretty much when I'm walking.
Right.
Pop it off. It'd be nice to have it hook on.
Yeah.
That'll put fire out. When in doubt, we're going to launch water from that over to here.
We locked all the wheels so we can't push it back out the door.
Smells good already.
Yeah, okay.
I can hear it sizzling.
It's that soy oil.
Soy oil.
Soy oil. Be stirring this.
I know. See, that cooled it off another 30 degrees probably. So this is called butterfly popcorn, or you can use mushroom popcorn.
What's the difference?
The shape of it. This pops like microwave popcorn, kind of. The butterfly stuff is like round. Okay, now we're blowing out, so. Delicious. Dang it.
Yeah, that's the sound I like to hear.
This is the nerve-wracking part right here.
Ready. This is for scooping down bowls. That lid hot?
What?
Is that lid hot? Yeah, go.
It's all
salt.
Get in here. Get some salt, I'll stir.
Move it all around. Well, they do say that you need to make sure you get that out, or else somebody's gonna
It's
get
gonna
that.
burn, that's what this is for.
Somebody's gonna get that. Hold on. Somebody's gonna get that burnt piece in their next batch.
There we go.
I see a lot of guys keep like a rag and they just wipe it out real quick, you know?
Oh yeah, you can put a rag on the end of that paddle.
That's a
Probably.
good idea. See what we got.
There's a chunk of sugar in there. Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I feel like it should have some more caramel color to it though.
Yeah, that's what it's a chunk of sugar. That's what I was just
Yeah,
picking
we put
up.
sugar in too soon, I think.
I think so too.
Oh man, it's hot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
really
good.
hot.
It's gonna be good though.
Oh, okay. Oh, I brought mine back in there.
It sounded a lot worse than it really was.
Yeah, it sounded terrible. Grab a piece. It's not hot anymore.
Grab a whole bunch of it.
There's a whole bunch of these sugar chunks in here. They're actually kind of delicious when
Yeah.
they're getting cooled off enough to eat.
So that's where we messed up. We put sugar in too soon.
They're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help yourself, man.
You want a whole bag of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This bag's full of a lot.
That's not bad.
3 bags. A lot of work to get 3 bags of popcorn. Not really a lot of work.
So while this is being bagged, the second bag needs to be
Cooking, yeah.
popping, yeah.
Well, I guess it would probably make 4 bags if we didn't fill them super full and we hadn't filled up a paper bag.
So, yeah.
It's like there's too much in here to fool with.
Uh-oh. We're gonna bag popcorn right now.
We just got done making popcorn.
5, 6, 8, 9, 100.
Really a pretty dang easy process after we figured it out. We're gonna do essentially first look. I'm not gonna lie, I peeked at them earlier just to make sure the color and everything was looking good, but I didn't spend a lot of time looking at them. This is gonna be the first real look at ribs. It is 1:47. We put them on at like 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. Been off about 4.5 hours. Oh, hang on a second. Let me get that steam out of the way so it doesn't clog up the camera, blur up the camera. Can't tell if it's blurring up the camera or not. I'll get you a close up of one before the camera fogs up. There we go. Those are looking real nice. I'll show you how I test a slab of ribs. This will let you know if they're done. Once again, I'm not doing temp or time. This might be hot, but I want to see. Not too bad. Kind of want them to start pulling apart right there on the top. I want to see the tendon, the fiber of the meat. That one's still pretty stiff. Test a couple ones. I'm gonna test some bigger ones and some smaller ones. This one here is kind of thin. Still pretty tough. And you'll see the bone pull back here on this slab here when it comes around. Well, that one too. We'll use this one for example. Let's just see if that bone is loose. Nope. That bone's not even nowhere near being loose. Been pretty tender though. I'm gonna let them ride a little bit longer. I don't want the bone to pull completely out, but I wanna feel like that bone is gonna be pretty loose pretty soon. Yeah, they still got some. Still a little stiff. I can't really overdo them. Like, they're just gonna get more perfect. But I do want to make sure they're done in time. Alright, it's 2:30. We gotta get ribs off and get them wrapped and get ready for customers to show up. These ought to be Just about right, though. You see that? A little warm. That's what we like. Ooh, a little hot. Normally I would have on some thicker gloves, but I don't have any. Well, I do have some. They are I have some like elbow length thick rubber gloves, but they got left in the sink last time. The inside of them is all full of water, so they're disgustingly wet. Woo, that one fell apart.
With hot kernels.
All I've had to eat today is popcorn.
Me too.
Well, we got so tied up filming when I was wrapping the ribs, and then I transitioned into making kettle corn, and customers started showing up, and I completely forgot I just left my camera on, and it just recorded the same thing until it died, and that was the end of it. And then my chaos of my life settled down, and I was like, oh crap, my camera, and it was just dead, pointing at the table still. But all the ribs are gone, all the popcorn's gone. Had a pretty good day.